This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon.com/Two-Headed Nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat at Omaha, in caverns, deep below the metro area, it is our pleasure to welcome you to episode 784 of the Two-Headed Nerd Comic Book Podcast. I'm your head number one. My name is Matt Baum, and I, for one, welcome the Age of Revelation.
I'm the internet's Joe Patrick, your head number two, and I'm with you, Matt. It's about time someone put us humans in check.
We're terrible at what we do. We really are.
Look, if you can't tell by now, there's no hope for you. It's time for another new comics show where we'll review 8 new comics from the past 2 new Comic Book Wednesdays. After that, we'll set you up with our must-read new comic picks for next week, and boy, is Matt going to be excited when he sees what my pick is.
There's a 60% chance I know what it is. In this episode, Joe and Matt witness artist David Marquez transform into a writer. Review not 1, but 2 new Fantastic Four number 1s. What's going on there? Revisit Patrick Horvath's adorable serial killer bear adventures. Watch Christopher Cantwell kill a bunch of Starfleet security. Brace for Post Malone's first foray into comics. And they welcome the X-Men to the Age of Revelation. Hope you survived the experience, Tom Breevort. It's review time in the Ziggurat.
Before we try to stamp out the conspiracy theories we spread about our rating system, let's talk about our rating system. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but if there is, it's Obama's fault.
Totally.
I blame Hunter Biden. Each comic we review is rated using our 3-point scale of buy it, skim it, or leave it. Then we pick the best comic we reviewed to enter the THN Permanent Collection. Our Synthezoid assistant Macho posts our written reviews on twoheadednerd.com every week, but we only deny those reviews exist right here on the new Comics Review Show. Macho, grab our review pile from last week and send out some confusing social media posts so they have no clue what we're actually talking about in this episode.
If the president isn't on the list, why is he acting so guilty? Here are your review comics for the week of Wednesday, July 9th.
We begin with the first of our Fantastic Four number 1s with Fantastic Four number 1. From Marvel, it's written by Ryan North, main cover and art by Humberto Ramos. There are 12 variants to choose from, if that's your thing. Some of them are pretty cool, don't get me wrong. Colors by Edgar Delgado, letters by VC's Travis Lanham. It's 32 pages for $3.99. I'm not going to read the solicit. We don't need to read the solicit. What's happening here is Dr. Doom, who is Emperor Doom right now, and he's taken over the entire Marvel Universe. See One World Under Doom for more on that. The Fantastic Four are fighting him in the middle of downtown New York in an amazing spread page by Humberto Ramos. And after they're done fighting, they're like, yeah, Doom, we're always going to whip your butt. You know why? We're the Fantastic Four. We're a family. But they're all just kind of standing there and they're doing it in front of Dr. Doom, who happens to be the Sorcerer Supreme right now. Bad idea, you know, right? So he goes, blip, and they all get sent back in time to 4 different, completely separate eras of the Earth, right? And each era is kind of specific to their power to mess with them a little bit, right? So there's nothing they can do. They're trapped back in time. It's great. Is it a first issue? It's more like issue 34 of what Ryan North has been doing, to be perfectly honest.
It's the first issue of a new arc, I guess, right?
Maybe it's the first issue of the new arc that deals with Dr. Doom or whatever. I mean, like, let's just be completely real here. It is a number 1 issue because the movie comes out next week. That's the only reason.
What?
Yeah.
There's a movie?
Yep. Big time. We're going to talk about that more with your first review, I believe. But
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that doesn't mean this is bad. This is an enjoyable issue of Ryan North's Fantastic Four. If you've been enjoying Ryan North's Fantastic Four, you will enjoy this. But guess what? Good news. The art got better. Right?
Way better.
Yeah. And
Like, no offense to the last guy, but
yes,
Humberto Ramos is a legend.
I am not trying to smash anybody's art, but if you had complaints with Ryan North's series, I would say maybe they weren't the art. It wasn't the best. That complaint has been removed. Humberto Ramos is here. He's very good. Is it worth a first issue? Sure. He's a legend. Why not? Right? And we do this all the time now, every year.
Who cares?
Constantly. Get over it, is all I'm saying. This is an enjoyable episode. This is an enjoyable issue of the Fantastic Four. It looks great. We get to see the Thing fighting dinosaurs. That's fun. We get to see Sue Storm as a total badass. North is super creative with the way that everyone uses their powers on their own this time.
Oh, I want to talk about that shit.
It's cool as hell.
But I'll wait for my turn.
As opposed
I'll wait
to
for my turn.
one of the things he does that's so great in his run is how he gets them to combine their powers to do really cool shit. Now they're all on their own and they have to use their powers in ways to just to survive. And it's really well executed. Did we need a new number one? No, absolutely not. But I get it. This is what we get because there's a movie coming. It's maybe not the best jumping on point, but it's also not the worst jumping on point. If you don't know what's going on with Emperor Doom and all that, you could be a little confused, I suppose. But hey, there's only 2 issues of the Doom event that have come out so far, so you can catch up.
There are 5.
Is there 5 that have come out already?
There are 5.
Oh,
yeah,
I've only read 2.
That, yeah.
I've only read like 2.
There are 4 or 5 out already.
If you want to catch up, it's not a big deal. Just know that Doom took over the world. Have a good time here. This is a buy it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason for it to be a new number one outside of marketing, but there's also no real reason to be mad that it's a new number one unless you are like a real stickler for your comic book collection filing system.
Bad news.
And I get that.
Sure.
I understand that impulse,
but
guys.
Bad news. Your FF run, it's already fucked.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you, this is Fantastic Four volume like 8.
At least
7 or 8. So your cataloging system is already boned.
Yeah.
This is good. It doesn't read like a new number one in the sense that like there's no introducing the family and all that they do and how they got here. None of that is present here.
I've got
which is kind of refreshing.
I have a feeling at some point this was just issue 34. And that could be. Now, I want to talk specifically about the powers. Not all of them, just Reed. Boy, Ryan North has really leaned into the idea that Reed can actually shapeshift. Oh, yeah.
Not just stretch. Not just like contort into like a ball. No. He turns his hand into a chisel.
Sure.
And his other one into a hammer. Well, and then he chisels a message on a rock.
Before that, though, they also explain that like lice can't bite him because his skin is so weird and dense. So
sure,
theoretically,
and I'll buy
if you gather a bunch of that into a small space, like the head of a chisel or the head of a hammer, I'll allow it.
It's not even the density part of it. It's not even the idea that those body parts would not be hard enough to chisel into rock.
Sure.
It's the fact that he turned his fucking hand into a knife. I can't wrap my brain around it. I don't like it.
I mean, he can get the edge sharp enough to maybe if he has that much control. And
it's not just pointy. It looks like an actual chisel.
I agree.
It's shaped like a chisel.
He turns himself into a hang glider too, Joe.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
That's way hard. And a sailboat. Also a sailboat. Okay.
Reed stretches. He does not turn into things. Now, if we're gonna explore the fact that his powers have evolved, can we talk about it? They haven't talked about it.
I don't have
They're
the
just
same
doing
problem.
it.
I don't know. It didn't bother me that much. I've seen him turn into stuff all the time.
There's only really one very overt instant. The hang gliding thing is one thing. But there's only one real overt thing in this issue, and that's the hammer and chisel. But then again, somebody in the Discord posted a picture from the 90s
it was John Byrne. This was John Byrne's Fantastic Four.
It wasn't John Byrne because it wasn't Byrne, but it may have been like Rich Buckler. It was somebody from that late 80s, early 90s era. And Reed turns into a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah. So his son can ride him around. Yeah.
It's a nightmare, guys. Anyway, this is a buy it. It's good. It's just, there are some things that the purist in me just has a real hard time with.
Oh, settle down.
I do love that Johnny is still sporting that shit kicker mustache. I love it so much. I think it's the best thing Ryan North has done to the Fantastic Four.
It's definitely the most character development that Johnny Storm has had in a long time.
I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, you're right. This is not Byrne. I'm not sure who this is, but it's definitely 80s. I bet it's late 80s.
I want to say it's Rich Buckler or Paul Ryan, or I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah, it's upsetting. The dinosaur thing, don't go looking for it. It's really upsetting. As part of our Fantastic Four double feature, it's time to talk about Fantastic Four. First Steps, number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is written by Matt Fraction with art by Mark Buckingham, colors by Alex Sinclair. Letters are by VC's Joe Caramagna. It's 32 pages for $4.99. You don't need the solicit. Here's what you need to know. This is a retelling of the first adventure of the Fantastic Four according to the MCU. As told by the fictional Marvel universe, Marvel Comics of the MCU. Just like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby exist in the 616 universe, creating the official Fantastic Four comic book. So it's very meta. It's written, Matt Fraction is back at Marvel, guys. Cause to celebrate? We'll see.
We'll get there. You know.
Yeah. So I kind of danced around it already, but in 1962, Marvel very famously introduced the idea that the FF had their own authorized comic produced by a fictional version of Marvel Comics that exists on Earth 616. First Steps, they're taking that idea and running with it. This is their first adventure after the Cosmic Rays, their debut to the public as superpowered beings within the MCU, as told by the Matt Fraction and the Mark Buckingham of the MCU, which means those guys exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think that's fun. In theory, it's a neat idea. The reality, though, is that it almost always wears out its welcome real quick in execution. I'm very happy for Matt Fraction to be back at Marvel for this like completely innocuous story. It at least manages to offer a kind of new take on the Mole Man. There are moloids, yes. There are monsters, yes. But there are also human beings. It's an entire underground society. Harvey Elder, who is Mole Man, is presented as this disenfranchised scientist that has fled underground. And what you find out is during the construction of, I believe it's the construction of the Baxter Building, they find out that it's like destroying Subterranea. And so Mole Man gathers an army and they fight back. It's a neat idea. We get to see Mole Man's baby mama. And that's the most interesting thing the story has to offer. Like this very like pro-union, pro-workers' rights, pro-unhoused like take on the Mole Man. The rest of it is like very bland and very standard issue FF. There's nothing to set them apart from any other version other than they kind of look like the movie characters. The narrative is also constantly interrupted by these talking head quotes from the cast, which, you know, are fun because they're retelling the adventure, right? And so it's like an oral history sort of. And so that's kind of where we get bits of characterization here and there. Like Johnny is scared to flame on in front of the onlookers because he's worried that it's going to scare him, which I thought was a nice thing, a nice little twist. I love Mark Buckingham. I really, really do. The work here is just not a great fit for this. I understand that they were going for this kind of Silver Age-y pastiche, and he does have a style that lends itself well to that. But I found it kind of boring. I think Phil Noto, who did the cover, would have been a much more interesting choice because he can capture that throwback feel. without sacrificing any flashiness. Like Phil Noto's art is exciting. And then on top of all that, the story is interrupted by fake ads for these like retro futuristic products and magazine articles about the family. Again, fun at first, but by the time I was like halfway through the second or third full page of text, I was like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
It's not as fun as they think it is. So I don't know if I just wasn't in the right mood, but I really wanted to like Fantastic Four First Steps, the tie-in comic, more than I did. Especially considering Matt Fraction and Mark Buckingham were involved.
Yeah, but he's kind of doing like a Mike Allred kind of thing. And if you want to do that, I mean, get Mike Allred to draw this.
Mike Allred would have been a great choice.
He would have been perfect
because his art is old-fashioned and still very kind of pop art and flash.
Right.
This is just old looking.
And it just seems like that's what Buckingham was going for, and he didn't nail.
I mean, but this is how he draws. Like, if you look at his most recent run, like this is how he draws.
I mean, maybe this is what his style is settling into, but it's definitely not the. No, you know what? I disagree, because I think he is leaning into something, and he's trying to do this kind of classic. They're like Jack Kirby at times and Mike Allred kind of look at times, and it's just I don't like it with his style. Maybe
you're right, and maybe that is part of it. It could also just be that the story doesn't really offer him anything that interesting to draw.
I disagree, because there's good fight scenes and stuff. Like Dale Eaglesham could make this look kick ass, no question. But the look is also not the problem. It's not the main.
It's not the only problem.
Yeah, it's not the only problem.
I still have high hopes for the movie, so I'm crossing my fingers. It's not a sign of what's to come. I'm giving this a skim it just to get my review my rating out of the way. But when I read this, my brain kicked into Matt Baum mode for a second, and I started to think up conspiracy theories like, did Marvel just have an unused Matt Fraction script in a drawer somewhere that they retrofitted to make it work for an MCU tie-in?
Sure feels like it to me. Sure feels like that
because I have a hard time believing that Matt Fraction came back to Marvel to write this.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, Joe. It does not make sense. And they can flesh it out with some fake ads and stuff like that and be like, oh, look what we did. How clever are we? I'm not reading any more of this. This didn't work for me. It was boring. Look, if you want to do a movie tie-in comic, do the thing where you award the comic reader with some knowledge they can bring into the movie. I'm not saying spoil something, but like think about like the effective movie tie-in comics. I'm specifically thinking of the last Star Trek movie tie-in comics, where they gave you a little snippet of what was going on with the main bad guy that you would not have otherwise when you went to that movie. And if you read it and you like IDW and how they're doing Star Trek comics, you're going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm in the club. This is cool. Way to go. Star Trek, I dig it. There's no excuse not to do that here. And a bit of the Mole Man's past, that's not enough. If it's supposed to be this meta thing, it's a failure. If it is them recycling a Matt Fraction story that they had laying around, that makes way more sense. Still unacceptable. I don't care about this.
I mean,
is it a failure of a comic?
That bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not needed. It's a letdown. Needed. It is the lowest skimmit I can give it. Borderline full on leave it cash grab. Maybe it is a leave it. Maybe it's leave it because there's no reason to read it. There isn't. It's a leave it. I'm not going to read anymore. It's boring. I should be more excited about Matt Fraction being back. It's a cash grab. I don't care. I'm done. Enough superheroes. Let's talk about cute fuzzy animals in the pages of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring #1 from IDW. It's written and created by Patrick Horvath. Letters by Hassan Otsman-Olao, 32 pages for $3.99. This is the return, the second story in his Beneath the Trees series. You may recall I gave it my Beppo for best miniseries last year because it's incredible. Now, I want to just don't start here. I'm begging you, don't start here. If you're interested in this series, go back and read the first one. It's only 4 issues. Well worth the read. Excellent story. And it's going to make this one hit even harder. right? That's not to take anything away from this book. It's just part 2. That's all. It's not the 80s anymore, says the solicit, almost a decade after the cuddly brown bear Samantha Strong solidified herself as the sole serial killer in Woodbrook. The world is entering a new era. As Samantha will soon find out, there are no secrets in the age of the internet, and those who lost loved ones to her massacre haven't given up the flame of justice. A reckoning is coming to Woodbrook. This is looking at one of the victims from Woodbrook, who didn't even necessarily belong there, but ended up there in pieces, vivisected on panel in just frightening detail. Not to mention the fact that it's a cute young male duck in clothing, like Donald Duck, right? Cut up by Dexter, essentially. This book is fiendish in how cute it is, and when it gets to the violence, and there's a lot more violence right up front in this story, in this miniseries, because they're telling a different story. But when Horvath gets to those violent moments, they really hit home because the animals are so goddamn cute. It's terrifying. We're getting a different look at the story here too. This is following the sister of one of the victims, as she is sort of one of those like early internet sleuths in the 90s. Has nowhere to turn. Like, she's been going to different police departments to identify bodies that aren't her brother. She's obsessed with finding out what happened to her brother because he just vanished without a trace. And this book is a lot darker in character. I know that sounds weird because the first one is about the serial killer, but the first one is told from this like happy point of view of a serial killer that like loves their neighbors and just wants to go about their business and do their thing. And it wasn't too hard to do that in the 80s. When the 90s show up and people can use the internet to both ask for information and share information on missing people, this gets a little more difficult. And I don't want to spoil anything, but as we see the main character moving through the story, getting some clues online, it leads to an even more terrifying place than we were left in the last series. This book is so incredible, and Horvath is like a singular talent. He's so good. I cannot give this a bigger buy-up, but I want to stress, please read that first miniseries. Read that one first. You got to do it.
So don't start here, says Matt. And so I didn't. I abstain. To my eternal shame, well, to my temporary shame, because I will eventually. I didn't finish the first volume. I need to finish it. And of all of the things that I read for the show, that I don't give a shit if I jump in like issue 1 of a new volume. This is one I'm actually invested in, and I didn't want to read it until I was caught up. And that is the recommendation that I would make as well, because that first book, like, I have started it. I'm halfway through it, and I want to see where that ends up before I read this one. And so for that reason, I'm abstaining. We have had to abstain from reviews in the past. Matt has done it too, no matter how much he wants to paint me as a layabout. He's done it too.
Lazy boy. So
but yeah,
not a layabout.
A lazy boy. Sorry. Yeah. Layabout
like
is
79.
Highfalutin.
Makes you sound like you're 80.
Yeah. Let's talk about another double threat that we didn't know was a double threat until last week. The Unchosen #1 from Image, story, and art by David Marquez.
Well, if you're keeping up with this, it came out digitally a while ago. This is just the first time in print.
We're not going to discuss it because I had no idea. Don't worry about it.
He's been a double threat for a while.
Okay, fine. So David Marquez, why is that name familiar? Well, he's been drawn a little bit called Uncanny X-Men. He also did Miles Morales for a while.
That is incorrect. He drew the hell out of Uncanny X-Men.
Yes, and then he started missing months, and we were like, "What the fuck, Marquez? Where's Marquez at?"
Yeah.
Now we know he's been doing this. Colors here are by Marissa Louise. Lettering and design are by DC Hopkins. It's 32 pages for $3.99. I'm going to read the solicit for the most part, except for the little bit at the end where they talk about how great David Marquez is, because we already did that. 13-year-old Ada wakes in a city laid waste by a massive explosion, a scene of devastation that she caused. Pursued by rival forces wielding incredible powers, she must discover who truly wants to help her, who wants to control her, and the truth behind her own mysterious past. Off to the races. So, this is his first creator-owned series, and it kicks off with a bang, or the aftermath of one. And then it jumps forward in time. And we see that we're dealing with a sort of apocalyptic Harry Potter scenario. And there's some time jumps back and forth. There's a lot of familiar tropes, but it's all done really well. The time jumps do a good job filling you in on the things you need to know in each moment. And then there's also these teases of like hidden information that's just out of reach, at least for now. Ada is likable enough. Her caretakers are definitely much more interesting, especially the powerhouse called Vasha, who is like Big Barda and Wonder Woman rolled into one.
Yeah.
And she is just like ending dudes with super strength and magical powers. It's fucking incredible.
And really cool effects with her powers.
Yes,
too.
and I'm going to get to that here in a second. The art is the real star of this show. Marquez's talent, of course, is on full display. The character designs, they do look like love letters to late 90s Wildstorm and Top Cow comics, but
sure.
I digress. Yeah. His depiction of the character's combat magic or whatever it is, we don't know for sure if it's magic or not.
I kind of felt like they were like mutants. That like this was very mutant.
Yeah, but they talk about like she doesn't have the word. She doesn't have the word, right? And then it's like, oh, spoiler alert, she has the word.
Yeah, maybe.
And so it's like I don't know if it's like tapping into the source or if it's a mutant power situation or what. But the look of the powers as they are in action is distinct and inventive, like super cool. Like some of the coolest power effects I have ever seen in a comic book.
It's cool as hell. I'm looking at a panel right now where there's like a guy that like creates these doorways and he's like grabbing.
Yes, oh my God, that panel is so cool.
He's grabbing the sides of the square panel and the next one, it's like he spreads it out and it's just like it illustrates.
His fingers are coming through the page.
Yeah, it's such a cool way to illustrate like really, this is what rad. This guy does. It's really creative.
Yeah. And then you have to add in now Marissa Louise. She does this thing with the colors and it's so intense in some cases that I found it a little bit off-putting. And maybe that was kind of the point.
I think that is.
Seeing that stuff happen should not look okay.
I think that is. I think the idea like these are special moves in a video game.
Otherworldly.
These are like massive combo moves that, flash on the screen. And you're just like, oh, that is not normal.
It's like, do you remember when we reviewed One World Under Doom #1 and we complained about the constant computer effects?
That
and
was
backgrounds
different.
Of everything.
But that was different.
This is the same sort of thing, but utilized in an expert way, not just as like a crutch for your normal art. This is used as a way to create a completely new visual effect.
Well, and not just that, illustrate, look how friggin' powerful these people are.
Yeah, man. It's so cool looking.
Yeah, it just works. It's not, it is definitely, it feels separate. It definitely feels brighter and bright, but it's there to illustrate what you are seeing is extreme power in use.
The Unchosen #1, strong creator-owned debut from Marquez. Marissa Louise is great as well. It does draw on some familiar like young adult fantasy tropes, but it's all executed really well. I love Mia's school for supernatural misfits or superpowered, whatever they are. There's a rival school angle that I love as well. Phenomenal art. This is a buy it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was really great. And I guess when I say I got this mutant feel, what I mean is I feel like he was very much X-Men influenced by possibly a story. No, you're right. He wanted to tell maybe in an X-Men book, but doesn't have a chance to. They want him to do his thing, and that is your art, and that's fine. Guess what, David? I think you got a strong argument for Breevort in the X Office that you should be able to tell next story. This is fantastic. I'm giving this a buy it. Just really well done.
Yep.
Here are your review comics for the week of Wednesday, July 16th.
Thank you, Macho. And leaping into this week, we begin with Star Trek Redshirts, #1 from IDW, Written by Christopher Cantwell, art by Megan Levins, colors by Charlie Kirchhoff, letters by Jody Troutman, and cover, very impressive, cool cover, by Chris Sheehan. This is the closest you're ever going to get to a death metal Star Trek cover, I think. It's like skeleton in space.
They all look like this.
Yeah.
The cover to issue 2 looks pretty rad as well.
The cover to each one is like a dead red shirt.
It's a red shirt, not just a dead red shirt, but a red shirt getting killed.
A little bit of your solicit here. This is the start of an all-new, heart-rending Star Trek 5-issue miniseries featuring Starfleet's most intrepid and doomed crew members, Redshirts. Now, they finally get their own story. Any Trekkie that knows the Redshirt story. It's a cliche. They are used to raise the stakes of an away mission, typically by getting killed. And we typically don't learn their names either.
They mention this in the back matter that even if you don't watch Star Trek, you know what a Redshirt
sure.
is.
Most people know. Now, and to Star Trek's credit, sometimes we did get a name, but that was typically just like, oh, Jimmy, it's your first mission, huh? Well, don't worry. We're going to make sure everything goes fine. Oh my God, Jimmy, no!
I mean, like, guess who wears a red shirt? Scotty.
Right.
But the dude also never leaves the ship.
Sure. He's also not security, so I'm not sure why he's wearing a red shirt. But anyway.
Yeah.
Cantwell has decided to give the Redshirts their due in this story about the uglier side of security's job. And he really firmly plants the fact that they understand their job and they understand their mortality rate. Look, they're the first in. They aren't good looking, like well put together officers on the bridge that do their thing. Like, these are the guys who barely passed Starfleet, did it the hard way, and now they got a job in security. So good luck, gentlemen. They are not your usual well put together, good looking officers either. They are a little rough around the edges. They have flaws. They have traumas. The guy that we're following has been on a planet for way too long, embedded, trying to figure out why someone is spying on essentially what is like a weather listening station. And he's about to find out, and it looks like it's going to be really bad. And they're sending more red shirts to back him up, and not everyone is going to survive. The other star is a red shirt that on his first mission got his eye ripped out by a Mugato, which that's fine if you don't know what that is. It is my favorite Star Trek alien.
It's like a wampa.
It is not like a wampa. How dare you?
Yeah.
It is a one-horned ape. Right?
I understand about a wampa.
Get out of here with your wampa. Don't bring your Star Wars racism into this, please. God, it's a different alien. Stop it. Levin's art, I think, is strongest in the character work here. She does a really good job. Keep in mind, everybody in this comic book is basically wearing a red uniform, so you got to differentiate them by their faces, and she does a nice job doing that. There's a lot of emotion. I didn't love all the tech that she draws. Her ship's not necessarily the best, but that's not what we're here. We're telling a very personal story, and this story is packed full of gutsy characters. They're all very aware that there's a good chance they're going to die, but this is what Starfleet security does, and it's a really fresh take on Star Trek. I don't think I've ever read a Star Trek story about the Redshirts. This is a lot of fun. I'm giving this a buy it. This is perfect for Cantwell, though. He gets to just write some gutsy characters that are probably going to get their face ripped off. There's a great 9-panel page, too, that shows like all the creative ways you can die on an away mission. It's really great. This is fun.
Getting disintegrated by a phaser. Yeah. Right, getting your head smushed by a Mugato.
Chopped in half by some giant insect thing.
Yeah. I really loved this, actually. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think that the mystery is great. And there's this kind of trope in Hollywood as well, in fiction, let's say, where it's like team of misfits has to solve a crime or prevent a thing. And this is that, but with red shirts from Star Trek, and it's great. And I thought the art was really good. I really liked Megan Levins' art. I agree. It's not what you would think of when you think of Star Trek art, but I really like the character work, and that is the
character work is very good
of this book. The writing is fantastic. Cantwell that dude writes great Star Trek comics.
He does.
And this is a fun little like separate mini thing. You don't have to have been reading the most recent Star Trek crossover thing or the ongoing or any of that. Just enjoy this for what it is. It's awesome. It's a buy it.
Yeah. And open letter to Star Trek. Let Christopher Cantwell write a television series, please. The guy has already proven he can do it.
Matt Bum, I've had it. This ends tonight.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Number 1 from Image Comics.
Okay, gotcha. There we go.
Written by Jerry Duggan. Look, folks, the segues can't all be winners. Written by Jerry Duggan, Kelvin Mao, and Robert Wyndham. Art by Jay Lee. Yeah, that Jay Lee. Colors are by June Chung. Letters are by Joe. Please don't rat me out to VC Sabino. Cover by Lee and Chung. It's 40 pages for $4.99. I'm going to read you part of the solicit. This issue is the kickoff of 3 interconnected tales of bloody revenge in Las Vegas. The debut issue stars 2 sisters hunted by assassins for their shocking family secret. It's an oversized action-packed romp. And every panel is crushed with love by Jay. It literally says it crushed with love by Jay.
I don't know.
How am I supposed to react to that?
Yeah. Like, so this feels like it needed AI help.
Maybe, sure.
The solicit needed a little AI help.
Like maybe you guys need to like ask.
Not like, what are you talking about, AI?
Why don't you ask Grok to help you punch?
Don't ask Grok. Don't ask Grok.
Don't ask.
Bad week for Grok.
It'll come back horribly racist. So this was first announced back in 2023, and it has taken this long for issue 1 to come out, and we're going to talk about that. So basically, the story is this. 2 sisters are attacked while visiting a Las Vegas strip club called Steak and Beef. And I love the line in the script where it's like, the Steak and Beef has been titillating viewers and confusing diners for decades.
Yeah, fair.
And this is seemingly at random, but then you learn very quickly that the blonde sister, Anna, definitely knows what's going on, and the younger sister, Katie, is blissfully ignorant. And what follows is this blood-spattered murder fest as Anna gives us an info dump about their family's real history. Long story short, it's D&D shit, guys. There's also a dash of Jack Kirby's, hey, let's swap kids to prevent a war between the new gods kind of thing going on. It's entertaining, but it's very busy. And since Duggan and Lee have just this single issue to make us care about the sisters, I'm not sure it's always as successful as maybe it should be. I did, however, love how everybody kept shouting the title of the book during action scenes.
Constantly.
They were like, I've got you now, Anna. This ends tonight.
Yeah, very.
It happens like 2 or 3 times.
The titular line is all over this.
The titular line, right. Yeah. I'm so tired of all these Star Wars, right. You get to see where this story intersects with issues 2 and 3, which is kind of cool. And I'm hoping that by filling in the rest of that world around Anna and Katie, it's going to help them seem more compelling on their own. Because right now, there's not a ton. There is a scene where the sisters are drugged or poisoned or something, and things get very hard to follow for a while.
Yeah.
Because they're hallucinating.
I couldn't tell if they were drugged or magicked or...
Well, right, exactly.
Really
right. And even after rereading it, I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though. I got a good night's sleep, and I read it again today, as opposed to laying in bed at night. And I felt better about it. I was like, okay, I get it now. I sort of understand what's going on. Jay Lee's art, sublime, you guys. It is gorgeous. It is violent and gory as hell. More gory than I have ever seen from Jay Lee. I mean, Matt, you can fact check me, but I don't think we've ever seen him go this book
fair.
Wild.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I know he's also done like a lot of Dynamite stuff that I didn't read. I think those are just like covers.
Well, he's done covers though.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's fair. Yeah.
good news. The latest report is that Lee was working on the art for issue 2 as of September of 2024. So we should see all 3 issues before the end of 2025. This was a bit haphazard. I found that there was a lot to like. I love the idea of the overlapping stories, and I'm curious to see how they end up like kind of feeding off of and informing one another. Of course, the art makes it tough to resist. I think it's definitely worth a look. I'm giving this a buy it, but I will say I wasn't sold on it at first. I did have to give it a second chance.
You already said that.
I'm just saying, like, for the summary.
When I look at this and the fact that it's written by 3 people, that makes a lot more sense. And it starts to feel like maybe there is an experiment in storytelling going on here.
My theory is that we will see Kelvin Mao's name at the top of the next issue. And then the third guy's name at the top of the third issue. I think they're each taking the lead on one of the issues. That's my theory.
Maybe. It kind of felt like they said, here's what we're going to do. This is the basic premise. We're all going to write 3 different stories based on this premise. Here's how it ends. Then we'll work it together. That's kind of what it felt like they were doing.
Maybe.
And I'm not going to say it doesn't work. I will say maybe that works better when you put it all out together as a graphic novel. So you can see the full thing and you can go,
yeah,
I see it coming together. Because I just don't know if the execution works really well in single issues. And that's where this kind of fell down. Not because it's bad, not because they're doing a bad job. The art is intense. It's some of the best Jay Lee stuff I've seen in years. I love the art. But I feel like if this is that kind of experiment, you kind of need to drink it like a shot, not like sipping it.
Sip it.
Yeah.
Right.
Here, you know, I need to take it straight to the dome. Right. So I'm going to give it a strong skim it because I don't know.
I think
if
that's fair.
I think
that's fair.
This also could have benefited from an opening page, an info page where they say, this is an experiment we did where we're doing this. Stay on for the ride. You won't regret it. And then I'll go, okay. Yeah, I guess I see them working. Now I'm guessing as to what they're doing and hoping it's not just having trouble telling a coherent story.
Just bad, right.
Yeah, so I'm giving it a skim it. Strong skim it. I'm going to finish up with a comic book you may have not even known was coming. I'll tell you who else didn't. Your retailer. I am talking about X-Men Age of Revelation #0 from Marvel. It's written by Jed MacKay, art by Humberto Ramos. He's been busy. Inks by Victor Olazaba, who's also been busy. Colors by Edgar Delgado. There is no letterer named. We do have a designer, Jay Bowen, so maybe it was him.
I think that just means there are no letters.
Pretty sure there's letters in this comic book. I read something. Covered by Ryan Stegman and Marcia Gracia. 32 pages for $4.99. I'm going to lay down the solicit because you're going to want to know what's going on because all your X-Men books are going away for a little while here. X years from today. That's X as in 10, bro. Get it? Cool. Welcome to the Age of Revelation. The Revelation territories stretch from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River, a mutant land ruled over by the heir of apocalypse. While on the surface of a kind mutant utopia, the cracks are beginning to show, and the lie that this land was built upon stirs the flames of the rebellion. Once again, kids, it's all Scott's fault this is happening. Because if there's one thing that Scott Summers cannot learn, or perhaps refuses to learn, it's don't team up with a bad guy, because something bad will happen. You know how you know? It's easy to remember. Both those things have bad right in the sentence. Two bads equals real bad. Don't do it. Now, this issue also, it could be tough to find because your retailers didn't know it was coming. They were given a week to order this 0 only after they got a shadow drop of a different variant Zero comic, which is selling for stupid money on eBay right now.
I mean, the same comic, but
you only got that if you signed up for special previews that you had to pay for from Penguin Random House. So not every store got them. Hooray. So a lot of stores were asked to just blindly order it, not knowing what's going on. Now they're trying to get it. Surprise, kids, the Age of Revelation is here, and it's the next big X event, and all your X books are getting replaced. Plus, there's going to be a Spider-Man tie-in and probably others. They're all getting rebranded for this event, and it's harkening back to Age of Apocalypse with a sprinkle of Krakoa 2.0 on top, I guess. For those who remember Age of Apocalypse, all the X books got canceled, and we got a different look of what would happen if Apocalypse took over a different Marvel universe, right? This is the regular Marvel U. This is 10 years in the future. So
this is a possible future of the Marvel U.
Well, maybe it's the only future.
No, Matt. Listen,
this
is how time works in the Marvel universe. Everything is mutable.
Don't listen to Joe Patrick. He has no idea what he's doing. Magic is definitely dead forever. McKay is using Zorn here to bring readers up to speed. Don't ask about Zorn if you don't know. You don't want to know about that history. I don't understand the history, and I read all of it. And Zorn is sort of like journaling, telling the story of what's happened for the last 10 years that brings us up to speed to now, where we have a desperate group of X-Men that are fighting against the supposed utopia the Era of Apocalypse Revelation has built. And I didn't love the lettering that is not credited, to be honest. It's supposed to look like journaling, but it kind of doesn't. Yeah. It's just really thin, and it gets washed out on some of the backgrounds sometimes, and it's kind of hard to read at points.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if Zorn has eyes.
That's not an excuse. You're giving this to readers, so don't give me this meta bullshit.
No, right? I like my no prize idea is that Zorn is just like, I think I'm writing words.
Look, all things aside with retailers and how this was sort of dropped in their lap, this story does a very good job of establishing this future status quo, an unbeatable bad guy, a desperate group of X-Men in the worst situation they've ever been in. They've set up new status quos for several X people, just like they did in Age of Apocalypse. Some of the good guys are bad guys. Some of the bad guys are good guys. Some of the good guys have bad guy names. And you're like, what? We'll find out together. All right. Ramos is on the art for this one shot with inks by Olazaba. This was the same team that worked on Fantastic Four #1, which I said, this looks great. I love it. And I'm happy to see Ramos back at Marvel. I do feel like the two of them shined a little more on Fantastic Four, though. There was
this issue does not look as good.
It just doesn't look as good. And I'm willing to forgive that a little bit because Tom Breevort came right out in his Substack and full on admitted this was rushed as hell. They slapped this together, right? So, and in Krakoa, everybody's getting fired and kicked out the door. And they're like, well, wait a minute. We kind of like that Revelation idea. And they're like, we already fired the guys that came up with it. And they're like, who's going to be Revelation? And Tom Breevort was like, I don't know. They didn't write the end. So they literally just picked somebody. And that somebody was Doug. And they were like, hey, Jed McKay, can you write this into your run? And he was like, well, I kind of already had some ideas, but sure. What if we just do a violent stop and jump to 10 years later? Is this a gimmick to sell more X-Men comic books? Yes, it definitely is. But I don't think that's necessarily bad because the X-Men need a shot in the arm right now. This, when I read it, got me a little excited. I want to see where it goes. I think we're going to have a good time here. I feel bad for the retailers, but guess what? You're going to order these and you're going to sell them. It's not like they're all going to sit on the shelves. I'm giving this a buy it. You might have trouble finding it.
All of the marketing, whatever aside, I actually really enjoyed this. I thought the setup was kind of great.
Yeah.
The art wasn't as good as FF #1. That is true. And I normally like Ramos a lot. And so I was surprised to see his name when I got to the credits page on the end. I was like, oh, Humberto Ramos drew this? Yikes.
Yeah.
Not that it's terrible, but it's just like it's not his best work.
No, it's
not his best work. But if you consider that it was probably drawn very quickly, then whatever. We rolled our eyes about the Revelation thing. We rolled our eyes when they announced that they were going to turn it into a big event. But this, I'm ready for it. It did its job. I'm giving this a buy it. I know what all you posties came here for. It's time for the main event. Post Malone's Big Rig #1. Do they call Post Malone fans posties? Because they should.
I wouldn't know, and I don't want to know.
This is from Vault Comics. It's created by Post Malone. It's written by Malone and Adrian Wassell. As Matt pointed out in the trailer for this week's episode, his real name is Austin Post.
Yeah.
So we're not sure where the Malone part comes from. I'm sure he'll tell you if you ask him.
I'm sure.
The art is by Nathan Gooden. Colors by Dershing Helmer. Letters by Jim Campbell. Cover by Gooden and Helmer. 48 pages for $6.99. And here is a bit of your solicit. They prayed for a miracle. They got 25 tons and 18 wheels of holy weapon. The Dark Ages. Demon hordes plague Europe as hell invades Earth. The Six Petals, a secret sect of the Knights Templar, are in desperate need of a means to drive back the scourge to turn the tide of the onslaught. What crashes to Earth is the Rig, a fully loaded tractor trailer. In the aftermath, the only man left standing is an enigmatic former priest, excommunicated from the Six Petals. He will become Trucker and lead the fight against hell behind the wheel of a demon-slaying machine. Now, we made a lot of jokes, folks, but Post Malone's first comic book is here. He does have help from co-writer Adrian Wassell. The two, they've put together this irresistible tale of bloody vengeance against the hordes of hell. It's got strong Army of Darkness vibes, with the twist that there is no modern day protagonist. I guess the Rig, Rig is the modern day protagonist.
Yeah, the Pork Chop Express is the protagonist.
Yeah, it's literally called down from the sky, seemingly by the prayers of the faithful, and this trucker, as he comes to be known, seems to be just as much a tool of the Rig as the Rig is a tool to him. The story is insane, showing Trucker and his new adventuring party, because of course he's not the only hero, tearing through hordes of the possessed. And I mean hordes of them. Innocent people possessed by demons. There's no saving them. Mow them down. It's God's problem now. However, the story moves ahead like a breakneck pace. So you either get on board or you get out of the way. I loved the ever-changing backstory of Edda, who is this young Viking witch who recruits Trucker to her cause. She's got a bodyguard named Batu, who's this badass indigenous warrior. They're a ton of fun. We don't get a lot of backstory for Trucker himself, except that he's this disgraced former priest. He's been excommunicated from this secret sect. His family has been killed in some horrific way. And there's also a hint that he has been a participant in some pretty horrific shit of his own.
Pretty solid amount of background for not getting any, I would say.
Well, I mean, we don't have details is what I'm saying. We don't know exactly what happened is the thing. We know his family died.
Yeah.
And then the demon teases that like, oh, you are guilty of some shit, Trucker. I'm intrigued to learn more about his past. I cared about all three of the main characters in a relatively short span of pages. The art is by Barbaric's Nathan Gooden, and it is incredible. Absolutely disgusting guts and gore combined with gorgeous character work and intricate backgrounds. Helmer's colors kind of punctuate the grayscale art with these violent bursts of red. Like the only things in this comic that are red are blood and the Rig, and that's it.
Well, and a devil.
Oh, well, Lucifer. Yeah, but that was in one moment.
Yeah.
That was just one moment. I picked this book because I could not fathom what kind of comic book project was springing from the mind of Post Malone. I just had to know. I was completely and pleasantly surprised. This book is a goddamn delight. It is a brutal grindhouse sci-fi fantasy fever dream of a delight, but it is a delight nonetheless. I'm giving this a buy it. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it seems Post Malone can do no wrong, and he's capable of anything except writing good songs. And yeah, I really this was great. I can't fight it. This was great. It doesn't matter my feelings towards his terrible music. God, the art is so good, but I love Nathan Gooden. Somehow he looks better in grayscale than he looks in full color, and I cannot explain that. That's like the one thing that I forgot artist.
I know. The one thing I forgot to note is that I don't know if Gooden is responsible for the grayscale or if Helmer does the grayscale and the red. But either way, it combines to this perfect.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. This is heavily Evil Dead influenced. Even Trucker looks
very, very Army of Darkness.
Looks like Bruce Campbell. Yeah. I mean, and that's fine. It's wearing all of that on its sleeve. There's like a big demon worm thing. Looks like it's right out of Dune, like whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Leviathan. Yeah.
It's just big, dumb, really, really well drawn fun. And I have to give it a buy it, even though Post Malone's name is on the cover. So it turns out guy understands quality comics, or he's got a hell of a co-writer. Who knows? I'll give it to him.
You don't have to give him such a left-handed compliment. Just say it's good.
Can't stand the guy. It's buy it.
That does it for our reviews, but now we'd love to hear what you thought of these comics and anything else that you're reading over on our Discord, where we talk about new comics every single Wednesday. Before we conveniently forget that we ever read these comics, however, we need to pick one to enter the THN Permanent Collection. Matt Baum, what's it going to be?
I'm going to give mine to Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, because I'm just so happy to have it back. And it's just unlike anything else that you are reading on the stands. It's by far the best thing I read this week. But that Star Trek Redshirts book wasn't far behind as far as like a really clever take on Star Trek.
It's true. And I think given any other week, I probably would have given it to Redshirts, but I was so floored by Big Rig that it was really good. Going in the collection for me.
It was really good. I can't fight it.
I was stunned by how good it was.
I can't fight it. It is time to head to the THN Sanctum Sanctorum to make our must-read comic book picks for next Wednesday, July 23rd. Joe Patrick, if these nerds are buying only one comic next week, I challenge you not to pick a Superman comic. What's it going to be?
Challenge denied. My pick for next week is Superman 28 from DC. It's written by Joshua Williamson.
60% chance he's going to pick Superman, folks. 60%. I did the math in the last 3 months.
With art by Dan Mora. It's 32 pages for $4.99. I gave you guys a break from the Superman books for a couple of weeks, but the heart wants what the heart wants. This book specifically is picking up with the mystery of the Anti-Life Legion of Superheroes that was introduced all the way back in the All-In special that launched the entire All-In line. We've seen them skulking around in the background of titles here and there, but now the way forward towards the next epic thing starts here. And I am very, very excited. They could have done this in Green Lantern or a different book, and I would have been equally excited. It just happens to be in Superman.
Sure. My pick for next week is Green Lantern 25 from DC. It's written by Jeremy Adams with art by Hermanico. It is 40 pages for $5.99. That's too expensive. $6 for 40 pages is too expensive. Okay. But Green Lantern has been really good. I had some downtime the last 10 days. I caught up on both Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps, and Adams has been killing it on both books. Morgan Hampton is co-writing Green Lantern Corps. It is also very good. Had a little art break where Fernando Passerian stepped away. Didn't love that, but the story was still great. So Hermanico is amazing on art, and they've just done this return to the Lanterns as a functional force for good in the universe. And I cannot remember the last time the Lanterns were not fucking everything up. You know?
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine.
It's crazy. It seems like such a simple idea. Plus, we're going to Gem World next issue. And you know why? That is where you go to get a gem to power the central power battery. Just makes sense. It's Gem World. You need a spatula? You go to Spatula City. It just makes sense. Green Lantern 25.
I mean, I'll grant you that Gem World is where gems are. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, it's called Gem World. They gotta have gems there, right?
Yeah.
Green Lantern, catch up. You're missing out. It's been a really good time.
It's true. Those books are both very good.
Excelsior! Oh.
That's it for THN 784. If you dig our new comic show, check out our YouTube channel where you can subscribe to all our shows separately. We got a back issue show, we got a gang hang, and I'm doing more with the visuals, including some of your art. So if you have an idea of what you think the Two-Headed Nerd looks like, send it to us. We'll put it up on YouTube. Thanks to John Bunger and our man Greg Litchfield for art we featured last week. It was awesome. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, star, write us a review, do all the stuff. It helps move the show up in the algorithm so other people can find it too.
Important stuff. Next week, you guys, I swear, the back issue show returns for part 2 of our Peter David Memorial. We will have 3 more comics written by one of our favorite creators of all time, dictated to us by the Cosmic Long Box. Come, share, and feel our feelings. If you need more THN before that, join us for the gang hang. It's on Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central Time. You can check out our Discord for details by visiting twoheadednerd.com/Discord.
I want to talk about Age of Revelation. I got questions, so read it. Get in there. I got a poll question that's going up about Reed Richards shape-shifting. I want to know what you think, because I think Joe Patrick's insane. We'll talk about it in the gang.
I fucking hate it.
THN is a listener-supported podcast. It would not be possible without the generosity of donors like our most recent birthday boy, Jimmy James Randall. He's 13 years old this week. He's way too young to be hanging out with us. He's reading Conan comics with boobs in them. He's smoking cigarettes. We're a terrible influence. If you support the show, like young Jimmy, you can hear this week's extra, part 2 of our TLDR review of X-Men, Heir of Apocalypse, just in time for you to understand what in the heck is going on in Age of Revelation number 0.
If you can find it.
Yeah, there's that. You can sign up to be a patron. You know where. Go to patreon.com/Two-Headed Nerd.
Before we go, our weekly shout out goes to our old buddy and comic book artist extraordinaire, Jim Kettner. It was just announced this week that Jim will be illustrating Matt Hagerty's middle grade graphic memoir, Offbeat. Offbeat is about how the writer formed a band to help overcome the dyslexia that caused him academic and social challenges as a youth, showing that he could be more than, quote unquote, that dyslexic kid.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Offbeat is due out in the fall of 2027 from Graphics with an X, but Jim is already hard at work thumbnailing the project as we speak. Congratulations and word to you, buddy. You deserve it.
Jimmy, I'm just glad you're working, baby. All right? Until next time, true believers, remember to pre-order your comics, or your retailer might say, yeah, I was in some pictures with that guy, but I don't know him. I've never even really hung out with him at all. I mean, I don't even know where I'm bringing this up.
Never met him.
This is the Two-Headed Nerd signing off.